Hello there.
Okay, keep the four members up here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the meeting started. Can everyone sit down, please? Okay, Dave, how many do we have?
47 at last count.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start the meeting, take a call meeting to order, look at the minutes.
The minutes of the December meeting were published in the January edition of the Cobrua Reporter. Has anyone found any additions, omissions, or corrections to those minutes? Are there any objections to accepting the published minutes? Thank you.
Okay, President's report. It's the beginning of the new year, and starting the new year. Next month we have two for report, elections, M&O, and Cobrua. So let's concentrate on those for now. Okay, Lynn, can we have the treasurer's report?
Good morning. Our month-ending balance in the checking account is $16,994. Our CD is $37,237 for a total of $54,231. Last month's balance was $51,278. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the M&O committee, Stanley.
Good morning. The committee met with management December 14, 2022. President was Judy Milligan, VP and site in charge of the site, Monica Wells, Senior VP and Chief Financial Officer of Senville, Abby Koffler, Entertainment, Dan Cruz, Regional Facilities Manager, and 6 members of the committee were present. Here are some of the highlights of the meeting. The tennis club presented some ideas for expansion of courts and how they felt courts could be improved. They will elaborate on their proposals at a future date. We are having an engineer study prepared regarding bike laws and bike lanes, which has been a problem that is a little difficult to resolve. A question came up about electric bicycles and where they should be. This we have to, determine what's the safest area for them. 3 blinking lights signals have been ordered, warning automobiles that they're approaching crosswalks where pedestrians are going to cross. Abby described the type of shows that will be available for next season, keeping in mind that the type of residents in the community is constantly changing. Collections for October totaled $45,372 from delinquent accounts. There's been a decrease in the units sold due to the large decrease in available properties. The tennis courts in New England will be undergoing repairs. Management will be getting proposals for these courts. The committee met earlier with the pickleball people, and with this sport becoming more popular and a larger group of residents wanting to play, the representatives asked for an increase in courts. This will be taken under advisement by the committee. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to have the Cobrua election and the Cobrua election by Felix Wadish, the election committee chairman. Felix?
Good morning. My name is Felix Wadish. I am the election committee chairman. There will be an election for the Cobrua Group Board of Directors February 14 to fill 3 available slots. Anyone planning to run who has not turned in a declaration of intent to run for office can be nominated from the floor at this meeting. In order to be eligible to run, a candidate at the time of election must be a permanent resident of Century Village West and be a unit owner of record. A permanent residence is defined as a person who has resided at Century Village West for at least 9 months in the preceding calendar year and either be a member of the executive board or a director of constituents member Condominium Association of Cobrua. The following candidates have filled their intent for the Cobrua Group: Regina Apicella, Martin Fish, Milton Fishberger, Caroline Haynes. Do we have any nomination from the floor for the Cobrua directors? Nominations are now closed. If a candidate wants to put a statement in the paper, your deadline is today. Your statement must be emailed to the Cobrua office, either in the body of an email or an attached Word document under 300 words. PDF, all caps, handwritten or scanned would not be accepted. There will be no exception. If there's a question on the format, call Maggie at the Cobrua office, 487-0222, before 1:30 p.m. Now, we have an election script. This is that anyone wishing to be a candidate for the Cobrua M&O committee can be nominated from the floor at the February 14 delegation meeting. In order to be eligible to run, a candidate at the time of election must be a permanent resident of the Century Village West and be a unit owner of record. A permanent resident is defined as a person who has resided at Century Village West for at least 9 months in the preceding calendar year, and either be a permanent of the executive board or a director of the constituent member Condominium Association of Cobrua. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Felix? Thank you, Felix. Appreciate it. Okay, security.
He's a moron.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Denise. I'm here to present the report for the month of December. In December, we patrolled 4,076 miles. We had 3,254 calls to the gates. We logged 3,933 contractors. We had 3,508 food deliveries, 44 fire rescues and AMR on site, and we had 99 IDs confiscated. Any questions?
I have a question here. Oh, wait, nobody can hear you. Just a minute. Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
it is.
wait. Wait 1 second, wait. We'll come to you. Okay, fine.
I want to commend Jody. She's doing an excellent job, and she seems to be available when you need to speak to her. Thank you so much.
On that note, I wanted to introduce Jody Ann. She's our new Chief of Security. She's been with the company since 2019. She has worked the gates, clubhouse. She's been patrolling the property, and for the past year, acting as an assistant chief of security. So she knows the village, she knows the rules and regulations. She's familiar with many of you guys, and we feel that she'll be productive and enforce all the implements that we have here.
You have a question? Yes. Are you a delegate? No. But you can ask a question, you have to identify yourself, that's all. So, you want to give him a mic, please? So we can hear him. Thank you.
My name is Martin Zimmerman. I live in Guilford D. There's a lot of theft going on here. Are you aware of that? Catalina converted, especially in some areas, they're being stolen from cars. This I had about 4 occurrences, but I think there's more than that. I know I didn't mention this thing, but it's still going on. Somebody, there should be some sort of security for those things.
Yes, when we found out about the incident, I made sure that we patrol the areas more often. We're not sure who might have done it, but the rovers have been patrolling more often and showing their presence. Since that's happened, we haven't had any complaints since about that incident happened because of the fact that we have 2 rovers. We're utilizing one to patrol certain areas where incidents have been happening. We were not aware of anything from last week.
You have a question? Yes. We'll get to you.
Good morning. My name is Carol Fisher. I'm in Exeter C. Several times after the Saturday night shows, we would come down the back stairs that exit at the front of the stage on the right. The exit gate by the guardhouse is locked, and we can't get back in, and we can't get out. This has happened several times, and I think security needs to be aware of what time the show lets out so people can exit through that gate, or else put a sign on the door inside that this is not an exit because the gates are locked.
Can't hear you.
Somebody get a microphone.
We were aware of that last week, so we started having the post stay open until 11 p.m. now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mitch, you have a question? Where's the other question? Oh.
Can I speak about the gate access?
You Yes, you can speak, if it's a security issue, you can speak about it.
Okay, several months ago, we were told that there was going to be a schedule set up for access to the different communities. I would like to know where we're up to with that.
Access as far as contractors, what is
Yes, contractors and furniture delivery. We in Rexford do not want contractors or furniture deliveries on the weekends. So we had put it in writing to Judy Willington at the time, and she said that they had set up something that they were going to try for 3 months. It is now maybe 5 or 6 months, and we are still getting these entries. I'd like to know what's going on with that.
I'll answer that question. We have made a change, we have implemented some of the changes at the gates for about 6 months now, and we feel that it's working best. We haven't had a lot of issues with the contractors or vendors coming in over the weekends. That was the major problems. So right now, as soon as we have a chance, we'll speak with Judy and she'll and the board, and they'll decide if we keep the same hours or if we need to make any other changes.
What are those hours?
It's Monday to Friday from 8 to 6.
Well, we're getting them on the weekends.
Only if they are authorized.
Authorized by who? I'm the president. I'm not authorizing them to come into Rexford. I don't want contractors nor deliveries on the weekends.
Deliveries are there 7 days of the week. Contractors Monday to Friday.
Why are the deliveries 7 days a week?
Because we've had a lot of different people. They have availability of moving in and out of the communities on the weekends because of work and others issues. So we made it 7 days a week.
We can't stop food deliveries.
I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about picking up furniture from Faith Farms, Goodwill, City Furniture. I don't want that in my community 7 days a week.
Annalise, did you get that question?
Yes, before we had an association that has different rules. Like some association allowed and the other association didn't. With what we implemented on those 6 months was one rule for all associations. The movers or delivering furnitures or estate farms, they are allowed to come in on the community or in all associations Monday to Friday. I'm sorry, 7 days a week. Contractors Monday to Friday.
Well, I have contractors that are coming in in moving vans that are bringing slabs of marble and God knows what, and we have no way of differentiating who's coming in and who's coming out.
No, if it is a contractor that you're having an issue with your community, you can let us know and we'll find out and make sure that that doesn't happen again. Some of the buildings or associations contacts us prior or management requesting a contractor to work on the weekends. Then we go, case by case.
Rich?
In regard to security, Richard Diamond, Suffolk, I noticed, because I walk at all different times in the evening, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I see a security car stopped in certain sections of the association buildings and stay there 10 minutes, 15 minutes with their light on, observing if anything is going on. That is something that started since the car problem, and I see it every evening when I walk as a security measure.
I want to mention just something on security, specifically on the issue with someone stealing something from a car.
that should be reported immediately. No, I don't think this one was. There was no issue. You said you had no record of something going on in the last month, last week. Well, it should be reported immediately. You shouldn't wait for a meeting like this, that item. There are plenty of other items come up as reasonable discussion things, but if something like this happens, that should be reported immediately and not come back to say a week or 3 weeks ago this happened. I think that's our obligation, not securities.
Any other questions?
Helen Baker, Suffolk. I was told that if you need an Uber to come in, you don't have to call them in, they're just permitted to come in. Is that true?
No, contractors, Ubers have to be called in.
I was told they didn't have to because we needed one for my granddaughter to get to the airport, and it was coming, they were coming in the middle of the night, and they said you don't have to, you just let them come in. I couldn't understand that. That's certainly not a secure measure.
It's not, and that shouldn't have happened, so I will speak with the guards as well, because Ubers have to be called in for security measures.
Now, we wouldn't know the license or the make of the car, but we'll tell them where they're coming, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you and welcome. Okay, Stan, you want to go with the Maple contract, please?
At this point, we're waiting for a couple of more associations to make the decision which way they're going to go, and then we'll bring it up to Comcast's attention to resolve the whole issue. So at this point, it's a matter of waiting for final answers.
Okay. Cobra Group, Sid. Need a mic? Got one? What's that? Sure. Wait, wait.
Mitchell, Schaefer, Brighton. Stanley, if these other associations don't tell you that they're interested in signing, what's the cutoff date from Comcast that they'll accept the contract for the associations that have signed?
Right now Comcast is showing some leeway, so I'm trying to get some answers either this week or next week at the latest. But they've been flexible. They haven't said like tomorrow's the cutoff date. They're willing to work with us and see how things come out.
So that leaves the opening to closing date of the contract ad infinitum. I mean, the contract ends the last year, is this year now. And what if these associations come in August and say, yeah, we want to be in?
Well, we're not waiting until August.
So that's what
I've been in touch with these associations that have to make a decision, and I'm waiting, and I will push them to see if I don't get it by the end of this week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And Cobra, Sid.
Yeah. Good morning. I'd just like to remind everyone that February 3rd, our council will be here to answer questions and give you an update. And the meeting will be in the theater from 10 to about noon time on Friday, February 3rd. Hopefully you'll all be there and you'll have your questions. If you don't like to ask questions in public, stand up. We're taking questions in advance, which will be presented to council. There's a box with Sherry at the information desk, and you can drop your questions there. We ask only that if you do drop a question in the box, that it be clearly printed or typed. One question per page, and it must contain your name, phone number, email address, and the name of your condo association. So we get lots of questions, or at least I do, and I know there's lots of pool talk going around, but if you want to know what is really going on and what to anticipate in future years as this whole program progresses, please try to attend the meeting on February 3rd. Any questions? Thank you. In the theater. Oh yes, all the buildings are posted, so Everybody should be informed, and it's also in the Cobrua Reporter. Thank you.
Okay, anything under old business? Yes. Just a minute, here come.
Larry Krakauer, Exeter City. I know as far as what you just said, we have not signed a contract with Comcast yet. Is that true? Correct. That's true.
We haven't finalized it yet.
Okay, okay. Because I know I'm having a tremendous amount of problems with Comcast. One technician tells you one thing, one tells you something else.
When you say one, who's the one?
The different technicians. I mean, they came to my house on Sunday. They fixed one thing, they broke another thing. So before we finalize anything, I don't know if anybody else has problems with them, but I know I do, and friends of mine do, and what could be done about it. Thank you.
Well, if you've had a problem and you can't resolve it, let me know.
Just did.
Anything else under old business? Anything under new business? Anything under good and welfare with the delegates? Anything good and welfare with the residents? Okay. Yes, you want to line up at the, where do you want it to line up at? Would you come over here, please? And please give your name and where you live, please. Come on, one meeting. All right, go ahead, sir.
Hi, John Garzaniti, Fanshawe Association. Two issues. I asked at the last meeting about getting an update from FP&L on a study and cost to add electric charging stations for vehicles at that clubhouse. I'm wondering what the progress is on.
Stanley?
Judy's been in touch with FPL, and we're waiting for them to come back and tell us when they're going to make the survey.
Are you going to get any timeline from them? Or?
No.
Hopefully as soon as possible.
Okay. The other issue is maybe most people here are aware of the serious accident on Century Village Boulevard, where a car traveling probably at an excessively high speed hit a cement light pole, took it down. Car was put up on its side. This is a symptom of people traveling Century Village Boulevard far too fast, far in excess of the 20-mile-an-hour limit on that road. We have an electronic sign that alerts people of the speed that they are traveling when they travel eastbound on Century Village Boulevard. We need a similar sign alerting people of the speed they're traveling eastbound on Century Village Boulevard. And it should be put up just before the curb where the accident occurred. So can the board request this?
We'll see if we can get another sign.
Good morning, my name is Arnie Donnisman, Rexford 8. Addressing the same problem, I'd like to know if the traffic ordinances in the village are enforceable, like stop signs or yielding to pedestrians and crosswalks or traffic or the speed limits. Putting up signs that no one will listen to it doesn't help. Can these be enforced?
No. You asked the question, I answered it. The only way you're going to do it, honestly, is you're going to have to hire the sheriffs to come in, and it's been brought up to the community many times, and they feel it's too costly, that the number of accidents that are happening does not justify the cost. That's, we tried it.
My name is Edith Nikor. I live in 20 years in Newcastle Sea. Long time ago, we had, before the COVID, we had a bus boat went to the beach, and now new people again ask if it's possible. Again, we're going once a week to the Deadfield Beach. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning, I'm Fred Hadley, Cornwall E. With regard to the traffic safety issues, I would like to know when this committee is going to make an honest attempt to have the citizen observer patrol that we pay for through our property taxes. We're paying for this, guys, and we're not getting the service. There was a suspension for COVID, but the sheriff has reinstated the service in most of Palm Beach County, but we are still without the citizen observer patrols. I'd like to see that back. I'd like to know if the committee is interested in improving safety here. If they are, they'll get those patrols back. My other issue, again related to safety, I attended the Sarge show. He's a terrific performer. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. The theater is beautiful. The sight line was perfect. I was in the last row of the orchestra. The rows were staggered. I didn't have to look between heads. The audio was impeccable. My only concern is, and the seats were quite comfortable, everything was beautiful. At the end of the show, which was a sold-out house, Sarge was very popular here, I didn't want to get up and get in the mosh pit as they exit, so I sat there and waited. Had to wait at least 10, maybe 15 minutes. That theater cannot be evacuated in the event of an emergency. This was under full house lights and everybody was calm. If there was ever a smoke condition backstage or something, that theater's a fire trap. They simply cannot get through those vestibules quickly enough. Now, one suggestion I might make that you might want to consider is that announcement should be made that the orchestra, the front of the house, should try to use the down exits on either side of the stage. That would reduce the amount of traffic going through those two cross-aisle exits. But I really hope, and plus the theater chairs next to the handicap spaces are a serious impediment. It causes quite a bottleneck. If you go up there with a yardstick, I don't think there's more than about 6 or 7 feet. And you have a couple of people with walkers. And you know, the lesson we learned from Korea, and those were young people, and there was no fire or gunshot, is that when crowds get spooked, you know, people get trampled and can't breathe, and deaths occur. Thank you very much for patiently listening, and have a good day.
We're looking, Fred, we're looking into that with the fire department.
Right.
Wait.
Martin Fish from.
Go ahead.
Martin Fish from Rexford. Concerning enforcement of the speed limit, I was just wondering that in addition to the mechanism that signals how fast someone is going, that we could get speed cameras and then send west, or in the future Cobra can have its own internal enforcement, whether tickets or taking away special privileges. That seems to be one way to address it.
We're looking at that. In fact, Ed Spark brought it up, and we're looking into it.
The one thing that Fred mentioned, I was at that show at the same time as you. I saw the way the crowd was all at the back of the theater. No one was exiting to the front. And I spoke to one of the ushers at the theater, and they said in the event of a fire, they would be trying to get people to go out that front way, but people don't want to stand around and talk to each other at the back and take their time. So the theater, I think, is designed properly. I don't think the fire department would allow anything but that. It's just us, okay? We met the problem is us. If you want to get out of the theater quickly and in the front, instead of from the orchestra, go out through the front doors. It's there, it works. If you want to just meet with the crowd and talk to each other in the back, then you can't say it's too crowded in the back. So it's something we have to look into, but I think the theater is designed properly.
Yes, but wait. Identify yourself up here. Mitch. Go ahead, go up there. Let's keep it down, please.
Mitchell Schaefer, Brighton. It's all well and good for people to exit through the front, but there are many people that may exit through the front that cannot handle the stairs, and they have to go to take the elevator down, so they must walk out through the back of the view. That's the problem when you don't go through the front. You have to walk down the stairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the...
Mike,
yes.
let me elaborate. We've instructed the MC to point out where all the exits are. There are a couple of exits on the side which people have not been using. Also, when they show the previews of the various shows that are coming up, the last slide is a picture of the theater pointing out all the exits that are available. So we've asked, like I said, we've asked the MC to enforce this and make the announcement more elaborate and pointing out where exits are. So the last show I attended, within minutes, the place was empty. It's been working much better at this point.
Any other questions? Have a motion to adjourn. Please give us your name because, you know, like I said every month, you just want to yell at me because it's not the name. You have a second? Okay, thank you.
Larry, you got a chance?
All in favor? Thank you for coming. Great meeting. Thank you very much.